Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
But it cuts to Imrul and Bailee real quick for Bailee's big moment, and Imrul's talking about the threesome and the toes suck. And then I think he realized once he said it, he's like, "Oh shit," because he's like, "But it was like playfully, you know? It was like totally playfully. Like it wasn't that big
I
of a
don't.
deal."
The whole thing with Imrul bringing this up, he's not who I thought he was. Because
No,
I feel
I'm
like something like that would have
his stock's going down.
yeah, his stock is definitely going down because something like that to the Emerald that I knew would have just rolled off his back and he probably would have forgotten about it within a couple of days and not brought it up. But it sounds like he was trying to figure out a way to bring it up to other people. And he
Yes.
kept talking about like, yeah, maybe I should have like brought it up to Jesse on that Sunday. Yeah, probably should have. Once you wait a couple of days, it does look like you're bringing it up to cause some chaos, which, by the way, hand up, I'm cool with because she needed to find out because we need to see this. But if you're doing that, you're not the guy that I thought you were. So now your stock's kind of dipping a little bit, bro.
100%. But it gets back to Jesse, Paige, and Gabby, and they're like, "Well, did you tell Ciara that you're exclusive?" And he realizes that like everybody knows everything, and you
Mm-hmm.
can see he's like, "Why? Why would you ask that? Like, what do you mean by that?" It's like you know exactly what she means because you're
Mm-hmm.
sweating now. Now you're starting to sweat because you know that the jig's up. And Paige is like, "Last weekend, if Lexi was there, she would have cut your balls off." And the fact that he doesn't understand that, they're like, "You were acting crazy, dude. Like the flirting with Ciara is way over the top." He's like, "Well, what is she saying?" I'm like, "Nothing." But everybody
Mm-hmm.
has eyes. We watch this whole thing happen. But you get
I
Carl's.
think I
Oh,
think
go ahead.
he's just slowly realizing now that his actions are under scrutiny
Hmm.
because he's with Lexi. Because everybody's thinking, "Oh, this is a much different Jesse than what we've seen last week or the week before when Lexi was here. He was all over her. We know where that is because he's constantly talking about the beginnings of a relationship with Lexi, all of the things that she's upfront about. Everybody in the house knows what's going on and how she feels. So you can't just move around like Jesse Solomon like did last year and start flirting with every single girl there. Start doing this. Like, yeah, you go to your confessionals and you talk about how you got to try to like keep your head up and you just miss Lexi the whole time. You don't really know how to be at a party with a bunch of hot chicks around and being able to talk to them freely. You're still doing it. You're just honing in on one person and thinking you're being sleuthy, but you're not. We all know what you're doing. And I like the timing because you just became official with Lexi. You're calling her your girlfriend. And now all of this is starting to crumble. Now you're starting to realize, like, fuck, there's so many more things on the line here. Yeah, but you put yourself there.
Yep. Shouldn't have done it. And then once you did it, you should have copped to it. You could have avoided all of this. And now it's going to be as bad as it can be because you actively avoided it, even when you realize as you're talking to Bailee and Ciara, and Bailee brings up, heard you got your toe sucked. He goes, it was casual. Who the fuck sucks a toe casually? When you're in a room at 2 a.m. drunk in a threesome scenario turned into a potential foursome scenario. But it was just a
I will
playful
shame that
toe in the
kink.
mouth.
I
That's
will
a
shame
bad
that
one.
kink.
I will shame that one because that doesn't make sense. Casually sucking a toe is bizarre behavior. If you say I'm sexually sucking a toe, fine. Okay, do you.
Sure, go for it.
Don't tell me you're casually doing it because now you're a weirdo.
Good point, actually. Once it's casual, it's no longer a kink.
Now
so
it's weird. Oh, now
we're
it's
not really,
like
so we're not shaming it. So now it's just weird. That's just weird behavior.
That's good logic. Well done. Appreciate that. Bailee asks, does Lexi know? Because aren't you guys official now? And he's like, no, it doesn't really answer the question. And the biggest point that multiple people make throughout this episode, we see it a lot at the kickball game. You wouldn't be cool with Lexi getting her toe sucked by some dude. So you doing it is not okay either. That's the best sticking point that everybody's made. And his confessional is, I thought Imrul was cool. Don't do that. Don't say that because you're now you're saying I'm not upset that I did something dumb. I'm upset because I got caught.
Well, that was the question on Watch What Happens Live too. Did Imrul break the guy code? And Carl said, yeah, I think he did. I think, again, if he had just said it casually, like the toe suck was very casual, if he said it casually a day or two after, no, he's not breaking the guy code. He's just thinking it's a big joke.
And
Jesse's putting it out there as a big joke. The problem is Imrul didn't really break guy code because everybody fucking knew it happened. Every single person in that house knew it happened because he told West. Carl found out, Gabby found out that he was in there the next morning. So everybody was finding out about this whole thing. So no, he didn't break guy code. He just brought it back up and now it's going to get back to Lexi faster. So that's why Jesse's upset about it.
I do have one thing to point out here. It's just a question. I would love to hear what our members have to think about it because Stella says guy code gives me the ick. Does girl code give you the ick? That's my question. No. Debate in the comments. But anyway, let's get back
I think the connotation for guy code is
covering up for cheating.
Yeah, it's covering up for cheating. That's like the only time the guy code ever comes in.
Yeah. That is icky, by the way. You're correct.
Yeah,
You're
that part's icky.
That part's super icky.
I'm trying to think of like a
good bro code is when your bro is going through something serious and is emotional and vulnerable and you don't share it with anybody else. That's good bro code.
Yeah.
How about that?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Or if you kill somebody, I help you hide the body. Bro code.
Just
you make me an accomplice.
Pickup truck. Yeah.
You know you would call me first.
You have a pickup truck, of course. I know you got some shovels down in that basement.
They're in my shed, but I do.
Oh, yeah.
But I was floored. And again, it shows you the headspace Jesse's in feeling that he has done something wrong because he immediately brings up Ciara. He's like, and everyone's saying that I'm flirting with Ciara. I'm like, you're telling Bailee that? Like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And only after telling Bailee that and realizing that she didn't know about it, and now you're like, fuck, I'm going to get caught again. Then you go, oh, I got to tell Lexi to make sure that she hears it from me, because if it comes from somebody else, it could be taken out of context and go poorly. It's like, no, you realize you just fucked up again. You're going to get caught again. You're going to get ahead of this one, but not the toe suck. Okay. Great idea.
So that's why immediately after we see him texting Lexi, and obviously we can go to the scene after, but we do have to talk about Gabby for a second. But we can go to the Lexi scene where she's modeling, and not a lot happens there, but she gets the real-time text from Jesse and goes right to a confessional talking about how yeah, Ciara and Jesse, like they're basically just like brother and sister. But now people are talking about them flirting, and I've never seen it in front of me. Does that mean it's just happening behind my back? Are there more questions out there? He's literally texting her at this second while we're watching these two scenes about this to try to get ahead of it. That's
Yep.
more shitty guy behavior.
Yep, 100%. But we get to Lexi, who's at a photo shoot, and we learn more about her business. And she got rid of her entire management team, and her mom and her sister took over. And, mixing family with business, it can be bad, but business has never been better. Had her best year with her momager and her sistager. So she's happy. And she's getting some new shots for her portfolio. I'm not really sure how that works, but in the middle of it, as she's like, you can't make it up. And you think you can because it's reality TV and things get produced. She's wearing Jesse's briefs, his lucky underwear.
Yeah.
And she gets this text from him about Ciara and the flirting. And the worst part is, I thought they were like brother and sister. At no point was I ever concerned about Jesse and Ciara. And now she has to be because of Jesse. So now he's also put Ciara in a bad spot. Not to fully vindicate her, though, because she was being flirty back to him.
She was giving it back, yeah.
And, that wasn't cool either because you're in the house.
That's girl code, by the way. You can't break girl code. That the two of them are romantically entwined. Shouldn't be flirting back. You shouldn't be flirting back with somebody else that lives in the house. No, not two girls. That's bad girl code. Yeah.
100%.
So now we've established good guy code, bad guy code. Good girl code we already know about because we talk about it all the time. Thanks, Kyle Richards. And also bad girl code with Kyle Richards. So she's great.
Yeah, she's like kind of write the whole book.
She's the gold standard for bad girl code.
Yeah, there you go. But the big thing to look at is how he behaves when Lexi is there and how he behaved the one weekend that she was not. And that's what people keep pointing out because he's never done that shit around her. Lexi even says that. She's like, I've never seen him flirt when I've been there. So now she has even more questions in her head. What the hell's going on when I'm not with him? Not just not with him at the summer house. When I'm not with Jesse, what is he doing? Because this is a completely different guy. That's why this whole thing is so fucked up. But we get to Lil and Gabby. And Gabby's fishing for the timeline a little bit here because she asks, they're talking about the soccer game and when they met. And I think the word summer's thrown out there. So Gabby, ears perk up a little bit. The word
summer was thrown out there because Gabby brought it up.
Thank you.
That's who started it.
She leads it.
She leads it. Lil, and I know, we've all seen, I'm sure everybody that's on this right now, all of our members have seen this too, that there is a post from Lil showing that it happened in October
21st.
But Lil did double down again twice in this conversation and say, yeah, it was last summer. Because Imrul then asks, did it happen last summer? So you guys have known each other for like a year. And she goes, yep, it's July. So that's a year. It's like 9 months, really. But she's not doing herself any favors with that. So this is why Steele and I had a conversation about this off screen via text. He is... Why don't you say your piece about Gabby? Because I get your piece and I fully understand it, but I don't really care about it on a show like this as much.
I agree with you. It does. It's a little bit different than like a housewife show. But my issue with this and with Gabby, because the one thing when she leads with the summer, you've known him since this like last summer, and she answers, yeah. It was inflection question mark. I was like, that's not really an answer. And then Imrul tries to, I don't know if he's trying to save the situation. He's like the soccer games this summer. And she was like, yeah, there wasn't enough due diligence there to make a firm decision on whether or not they had started DMing while he was still with Lindsay. That was my first issue. To take the little bit there and then run with it that, oh, he was texting other women while you guys were engaged is a pretty big jump, I thought. And the second part is when Gabby's had her own moments on this show and when she's doing her thing, like she's good for the show. She has a spot on this show. Yeah. But for the last 2 seasons, I just feel like she's Lindsay's pal. Like she speaks for Lindsay. Like she goes to bat for Lindsay. It's like, I want to know about Gabby. I don't really give a fuck what your relationship is with Lindsay.
Yeah. And she started off this season talking about how, I'm not going to be as bogged down by the house as much anymore. I'm not going to go out with all of these people all the time. I'm going to have my own little sneaky links over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stay outside the house. And we're like, all right, good for you, Gabby. Maybe something will come of that. It hasn't. You just immediately went right back to the backgrounds. You're a background character. But again, on a show like this, and you already said it, on a housewife show, if one of the housewives is doing this shit, we're going to yell at them and tell them to do something. Stand up and do something. If it's another situation where somebody's on a show like this or Southern Charm or whatever, like when we saw this happen to Benita, you're sharing a lot of your storyline, but they're not showing as much. That sucks. Gabby's not showing anything. She's just being Lindsay's pal. So in the midst of all of this, sitting there and just trying to get the dirt to go back to Lindsay about, I just got an inkling that the two of them are still talking about it, where you and I talked about this a while ago. Look, I love that Lindsay got to pop off this episode, and we'll talk about that in a second. But shouldn't Lindsay not give a fuck? Like, come on. Like,
She's pregnant with another dude's kid.
Yeah.
You would think that at this point they'd be able to move on.
So let's we're going right to that, aren't we? With Wes setting up for the software for the kickball anyway, with Lindsay and them talking.
Yeah, we are. Before we do, though, my one thing is like devil's advocate. She's pushing the drama. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with.
It's the same thing as Imrul talking about the toe sock.
Correct. So it's not like, but again, like Imrul's stock has gone down because he doesn't have like his own. He doesn't do shit. He's just the guy that bangs people, and like that was funny. And we said that episode 1. This shtick could get old really fast if he's one dimensional. We'll see. It's still early. Like still early in this. I mean, we're getting close to halfway actually, so he should hopefully pick it up a little bit. But I don't have an issue with Gabby. Like, I think Gabby's good for the show. I just want Gabby to do her own thing. And maybe she is, and they're cutting it. Like, production can fuck people over. I don't know. When I saw this, I was like, nah. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Not great, but push the narrative, so I'm okay with that. But anyway, we go straight to kickball. And the whole goal seems to be to get Ciara to be cool with West. We're all going to go play kickball together so that we're okay.
The entire goal of all of this,
which is hysterical, but
I think it's very funny that West is going to organize all of this, and we're even going to get the little flashback. We were all in a kickball league last year, and they showed up in the fall, and it's just really cool and admirable that Paige and Ciara show up and they really turn it on when it comes into getting into sports, and I just really love that. We all know what you're doing. You're hoping that Ciara jumps in here because you're trying to remind her of how good times were and you guys can be friends, and you're going to organize this, and maybe she's going to say thank you. He even said, like, maybe if, she's playing second base and I get to play first, she's going to have to throw the ball to me. She gets the ground ball, she's going to have to throw it over to me. That'll be cool. It's like, that's what you're going for now.
Yeah.
We started off the summer. You got no fucking hug. You got your arm slapped away. She's not talking to you. She's not even looking at you. You're now settling for potentially throwing a ball over to you. That's what you're going to do. That's incredible. Just absolutely incredible work by West.
Hey, whatever it takes to be cool with her again. But we get to Lindsay and Gabby, and she's like, what was that thing you went to in Jersey or whatever with that, whatever that was? And, her reasons for not going. This scene just tells you she's not over it yet. And there's not just because she's pregnant with another man's kid doesn't mean that she has to be entirely over the situation. I understand that they were engaged. It's a friendship. It was dating. It's a saga. So I get it, but she seemed to be over it. That's why when this scene happened, I was like, oh, she's not, she's still got some gas left in the tank.
She's got a lot of fire going towards Carl there. And and the way that I want to look at this, I'm going to look at it in two different ways. One way is reality TV, and I don't really care. I'm happy that Lindsay's activated. It's been so long since we've seen her. She's just been so like nice and normal the whole time. We were very shocked that her and Carl were just cool and cordial, and she was nice. But seeing her get activated is awesome. I love watching Lindsay get activated. Need her on Roni. Just absolutely need her on Roni.
She's got to go, dude. She has to.
That's where her trajectory is going. And I know that, that's kind of gotten some steam. And I think people have even brought it up.
She met with Andy. She met with Andy about it.
Yeah. And she's not saying no. So I really hope that that's what happens. Now, on the other hand,
that show up.
On the other hand, why the fuck do we care if Carl was potentially DMing a girl right before they broke off their engagement? You ended up living in an apartment that he paid for multiple months, then got pregnant on the bed that you guys bought together, that Carl probably bought. You're now 6 months pregnant or whatever the fuck you are, having a baby with some guy that you love that we're not seeing because he is a really nice guy that just doesn't want to be on TV and everybody seems to respect him. Move on with your life. What are you doing, lady? Like, are you fucking nuts that we're sitting here talking and speculating about when he started talking to some weird girl that makes her own clothing? Who gives a shit? Carl's opening a soft bar. You hate that idea. Lil's over here. You hate her. You think that they started talking before you guys broke up. You're fucking pregnant, lady. Enough. Like, just move on.
So I talked to Dev about this. We got into a debate actually about this, which was hysterical. But I had a similar sentiment, and after I talked to her, I'm like, okay, it's similar to the Gabby thing. It's like, yeah, sure, but entertaining, good for the show, and also shows you where she's still at, that she still does have some feelings about this whole thing and how it went. So after that conversation, I was like, all right, I can see both sides of it, because I do agree with you where it's like, all right, it's time to move on. There's not a whole lot of evidence here, especially when your evidence and the way that she said it, dude. She's like, I woke up, I went into his room to give him a hug. I'm like, not a great start.
You guys are already done. Like, your fucking relationship's over. You lived in separate rooms. You got to remind us that you guys lived in separate rooms 2 months before your wedding.
Yep.
You guys were done. You guys were toast.
You started out with that, and then you talk about this DM, and they swiped out of it, and there was a phone number on it. My issue with that is it was so heated last year. 1 and 2, it would have came up. No, somebody would have brought that up if she had seen that. And like, we're at the reunion last year, and like all that shit's going on with the fallout that came from this. That would have been discussed, in my opinion. Yeah, that would have came up at some point or another.
Imagine.
But she takes it and runs with it, and she's like, I've been putting this whole thing together. One morning I went into his room to give him a hug, and I saw the DM. He swiped out of it, and meanwhile he's like, oh, I'm such a victim. Woe is me, and blah, blah, blah. And
here's the other. If I was, I always forget who her guy's name is, but whatever. If I was the dad of Lindsay's baby, and I'm watching this, and she's getting this upset over Carl potentially talking or DMing a girl last summer, and she's pregnant with my kid, that's a huge fucking red flag. Just a massive red flag. And I know I saw somebody in the comments here said, everybody would be upset if you found out about this, about an ex. They're an ex for a reason. Like, they're not getting back together.
I don't think she's not allowed to. She's allowed to feel some type of way. They were still engaged.
But she was enraged. And when she said, I've been putting together the pieces, that sounds like an active investigation.
That was funny.
It's just enough. No, again, that's why I said the first part where I'm like, I love that Lindsay got activated, because it is very fun to watch, and I always root for her in a weird way. But
it's hard not to.
In a real standpoint, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and she fucking leans into him. She's like, he's a fraud, he's a phony, he's a liar, and add cheater to the resume. I was like, Jesus, this devolved quickly, but Gabby spills the tea to Paige and Lindsay about the toe sucking or the Lil stuff. Like, not the toe sucking. She talks about the Lil stuff, right? No.
Yeah.
No. She brings up everything. That's right. She brings up everything. And then over at the boys, Imrul spills the toe tea, as I wrote down, which now that I see it out loud is gross. Toe tea should never be a thing.
That's gross. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm sorry, guys.
There's no benefits to toe tea.
But it's so funny to me. Nice full circle moment. Good job.
Thank you.
That as the girls are talking, and it's so funny how the game of telephone works, because Lindsay wasn't there that weekend. Lindsay brings up to the girls, I found out Jesse wanted to watch a threesome. It's like, you can't say no.
Maybe. He barged in there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's like exactly what was happening, but it's just funny that it went from, I'm just going to go check out what they're doing, to he wanted to go in there and watch. It's like, oh, God, like, what's he up to? And he got his toe sucked. Bailee throws it in there. Lexi is floored because she's like, whoa. He got his toe sucked? Like, he left that part out. And that's the worst part about him.
He left all of it out.
The fact that he tried to cover his tracks on the flirting with Ciara, but left this out, shows you that he is guilty as fuck. He feels like an idiot. He knows he messed up. He was trying to get around it. And the worst part is when she confronts him about it later, it was a joke. It's like, you don't get to say that because you did something inappropriate. That's not a good defense. I was making a funny.
No, it's just, it's not. And I mean, look, we can talk about the actual kickball game. That was kind of fun to watch. Maybe want to play some kickball. But I feel like the whole thing really just goes right back to Jesse and Lexi getting through all of this. Obviously, West completely butthurt that Ciara didn't show up. Very upset that Ciara didn't show up. He even made her a shirt. It said somebody's mommy or something on it. I don't know. I guess she has a cat or a dog or
Gasper's
something.
mommy, I believe it was, and that's her
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
it goes right back to Jesse and Lexi because there's tension in the air and we're figuring this whole thing out. Jesse doesn't know how to handle this. He's freaking out immediately. All of his world is just crumbling down. And this is exactly what he needs to understand. You can't do this type of shit. I hated the way that he handled this.
It was atrocious, bro. It
The
was atrocious.
worst thing that he could have done was Lexi once again being very transparent, talking about her feelings. This kind of crushed me. I feel like my heart hurts. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you understand my feelings? He goes, sure.
Sure.
Like, are you nuts?
Sure.
Come on, man. Just fucking
Fuck off,
eat
dude.
crow. You have no other choice here but to just eat shit. Because lo and behold, we've got footage. There's going to be more questions. 37 minutes is absolutely going to come back. We've got a reunion coming up. They're probably going to film that in the next couple of weeks. How do you think that's going to go? This is your opportunity to do what West didn't do and get ahead of it. Just apologize your ass off. Hope that she's cool with it and you can get out of this relatively unscathed. That's
Yeah,
your best
you'll
bet
be
here.
okay.
What laurels are you resting on? Do you think this was a
doesn't
good
have it.
idea at all? No, it's insane to me the way that people operate and typically douchebags operate. It's like, what do you think you're getting away with? There's nothing more that you can do here. You just watched in a matter of 5 days, all of this got out. You flirting with Ciara, which she hasn't really brought up yet. You getting your toes sucked. You barging into Imrul's room. All of this came out within a couple of days. There's nothing you can do. You can't spin this narrative anymore. You just have to accept defeat. And he's not accepting it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
No,
Come
dude,
on.
it was tough. Like the one highlight there's two highlights from the softball game. Paige
Yeah.
game ending catch and West diving for the ball in the outfield really resonated with me because that's how I play intramural sports and I end up hurting myself.
Absolutely.
I don't have you get it. I don't have like a 50%. It's 110%.
Yeah, but his dive immediately was negated by jumping to catch a ball that was like right at his face.
The unnecessary
It's like,
jump. Yep,
Yeah.
it took it
We're
all
done.
away. But the other thing that happened during that game was Lexi was talking to Lindsay and, I think trying to seek comfort and being like, well, he told me about this Ciara flirting thing. And Lindsay's like, yeah, I heard that too. And she's like, oh, you did? Like, yeah, she's like, yeah, everyone kind of has been talking about that. I heard that he told her it would have been different if I met you before West, which has got to be a fucking dagger, especially earlier. She had said, like, all week he was the boyfriend from heaven. I felt so safe and now I feel icky. And like, that's the problem. And that's what he doesn't fucking understand is like your dumb actions because you're joking have real effects on people. And somebody that's very innocent and very open and transparent, is she coming on really strong? Yeah, but she's unapologetically doing so. So you can't blame her for it. You know where she stands. So to enter this conversation and start off with, it was a non-thing. The toe suck was funny. I'm so glad. The way she handled herself during this conversation was really fucking impressive. It was really impressive. And I love that she didn't even go after the toe thing. She just sidestepped it and goes, what about telling Ciara that if you had a chance first, it would have turned out differently? And he was like, deer in headlights. What? He was like, well, that's not what I said. And again,
it was paraphrasing a bit, but that is what you were saying.
It is what you said. Yeah. It is exactly what you implied. And also, if you had said that to her and in that moment she reciprocated, you would have 100% hooked up with her. No doubt. No one doubts that at all. So don't act like it was some joke because you have a brother-sister friendship. That's just a guise for you to be flirty with somebody you're attracted to with no repercussions. But now the repercussions are coming because you overstepped the line. When she says, that may not have been what you said, but that's how everybody received it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that your intentions may not have been that because what you said made everyone else believe that this is what you were implying. And that's a fucking problem because I would never say that to West. I would never say that to Carl because that would be really inappropriate and you would fucking hate that. It was more of a joke. It's not funny. It's not a joke. You got
No.
caught and you're trying to not have to take any kind of heat for it. You're
No.
fucked.
Well, we know what he's going to do this. He's going to do all of this, say that everything's a joke, and he's going to try to like circle back to the Instagram comments. He's going to try to circle back to just who he is. And that's what he's going to rest on. He's going to come away from all of this saying, you know what? I should have just seen it. You know, we were moving way too fast. It was just, you know, she just wasn't allowing me to be me. You know what I mean? Like, I need to find a girl that's going to allow me to be me. And, you know, maybe in an open relationship, somebody's going to allow you to be you. You can go ahead and flirt with whoever you want. You can try to test the water, so to speak, on any girl that you want. Any girl
hang out with
you had a
Imrul.
misconnection. Yeah, go hang out with Imrul.
Go to a sex party with Imrul.
But she's not doing that. So you can't get away with this. Not everything can just be a joke at this point, because it wasn't a joke when you were doing it. We know what you were doing.
We know damn well, especially as like two dudes, like we know what you're doing. It's fucking obvious as shit too. You're putting, like we said earlier, it's feelers, and you hide behind the friendship so that if she doesn't reciprocate, you'd be like, you know how we are. But if she leans into it, you'll be like, wait a minute, that's what you're doing. But then when the weekend ends and reality hits again, you're like, oh fuck, Lexi. Now you turn into boyfriend of the year, bringing flowers, saying all these nice things, getting exclusive after you left a weekend of doing what you did. Now her memory of you two finally getting together is going to be overshadowed by what it was following. That's what you did. That's who you are. And that shows you're not ready for a fucking relationship. And she finishes this whole thing perfectly. Because after she asks him, do you get how that would mess with my trust? And he hits her with a sure. She goes, it's strange you didn't tell me, for starters. It's strange that you told me about Ciara, but not about the toe. It's embarrassing that you did these things. I would never put you in that spot. And his response is, you know, it's an adjustment for me. I am really sorry, but I won't do it again. And like, you know, I'm really sorry, man. It's like, now you are, but you just hit her with a sure 30 seconds ago. And this poor girl's heart hurts. She says, my heart hurts. And that's your fault, because you're a dick. For her. I do too. She's like, does she have her quirks? Sure. But she's her. And I appreciate that. I'm always down for people that are 100% themselves, even if they're a little different. I think that's awesome. And I think that she's open. Like, there's no question marks, you know? So for him to go into this whole thing and act like, well, you're not letting me be me. Like, you're totally correct on that one. That's his whole defense. And if this goes south, he's going to be like, she was too controlling. She wanted too much from me. She was trying to change me. It's like, no, she was trying to get you to not be a fuckboy anymore. And you're not ready to do that. So instead, you've floored this poor girl.
I can theorize now that it'll probably be more along the lines, because that'll be too apparent. That'll be too easy of a move for him to do that. It'll be, she was a really nice girl. She just wasn't for me. Or she was a really nice girl. I just wasn't ready. That'll be the thing. And that'll be him
I fucked it up
in his own way, taking accountability. But that's really what he's going to say. He's not going to actually take full accountability and be like, yeah, I was an absolute shithead. Was pretty much just love bombing this girl. Because at some point I was like, it's not really love bombing. You seem to be infatuated. Now I'm just like, this is full on love bombing. The flowers after all of that is full love bombing. And it's the only love bombing that you can really get after you cheat on your girlfriend. Show up with some flowers, take her out to dinner, make her feel like the best person in the world, and then hope that it doesn't get back to her. Guess what? There's cameras everywhere, and these people live for drama. They're going to bring it right to her doorstep. So you're fucked no matter what you do.
And all those nice things that you did that week are now gross to her because she realizes why you did them. So, it's going to get ugly for old Jesse Solomon. And I also think Ciara's going to catch a stray here. And, you know, again, she leaned into it, but she is going to be a casualty of this whole thing, I believe, which is unfortunate. But let's get to some questions from our members. It's a 10-second delay, so we'll just sit here and hang out while you guys think of your questions and fire away when ready. And yes, I did get this water from my water cooler in this room right behind me, and it's wonderful.
Hell yeah.
There's nothing better than drinking from glass bottles, and from a water cooler and glass bottles. Like,
it's just the best.
It's the pinnacle. I've made it. I don't need anything else.
The only way to do it.
What I love about this episode is our comment section has been talking to each other the entire time, which I love to see. They're not even
Yeah.
asking questions. They're still talking to each other, which that's fine. Carry on.
Yeah, do your thing. Who do you
There
think
we
would
go.
win the fight? Here you go. Candy. I just saw a fight from Candy. Who do you think would win the fight between Ciara and Lexi? I am going to opt out of making that a physical fight and say that they would be fighting for Jesse Solomon's love. Neither. I think that what you want me to do the physical fight?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, all right. Probably Ciara.
I don't know. Lexi seems scrappy. I don't know. I'm not going to answer.
Oh, I fuck you.
From Ryan Stoneman, if Lindsay leaves for Roni, who will carry the show? Maybe some MV cast come over. I would love for the Martha's Vineyard cast to get involved. I would love for them to be back on our screens. I thought they got the shaft. That was a good show. And if you are bored and need something to watch, go back and watch it. It's only 2 seasons, but it is good. I would love for them to fill in. I don't know if they'll do that.
Lindsay leaves, who will carry the show?
You just got to get younger people in there. You got to get new
Lindsay doesn't
peeps.
currently carry the show anyway.
She's been on 2 episodes, Ryan.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Ryan. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
Ryan's become like infamous in these chats, by the way. People come in and like, is Ryan here yet? You're a villain, Ryan. Well done. Not to us. We love you. Love, hate, but mostly love. From Deirdre, do you think West looks a little like a 90s Abercrombie Where's Waldo? I like his fashion sense. I'm not gonna lie. I like it.
He's getting a lot of shit for it, and he's leaning into it in a funny way, and that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, I actually like it. But here you go. Who is Sabrina Carpenter? So I don't have to Google. She's one of the most famous like recording artists in the world right now. But that's okay. That's okay. Parents get mad at her shows because they take their kids to them and she wears lingerie and stuff, and they know that she does this, and then they take their kids and they still get pissed off about it, which is the stupidest
and she
thing
does
I've
like a
ever heard.
sexual position as like the main point of all of her shows during Juno. And although she didn't do it in what was it, Copenhagen or something the other day, people were pissed off. But it was just an April Fool's joke, guys.
Yeah, but also
that's Sabrina
you know
Carpenter.
what she does at her shows. So if you take your kid and then you're like, what the fuck? It's like you took the kid. You know what's happening.
Hold on, we got one here. From Zoe, is Imrul's shtick of having a lot of sex going to get old? Yeah.
It's already old.
It's already old. Yeah.
Yeah, if he was, like I said, if he wasn't one dimensional, if that wasn't all he's offering to the show currently, then no, it would probably just be like a thing he does. But that's literally it. He was too tired to even contribute at the pool because he was up all night boinking. So, yeah.
Oh, on Watch What Happens Live, Carl said, I'm surprised that the camera didn't catch any of that, because what they do is when you throw a sheet on there, you can look over and see the camera going up and down and up and down and left and right, trying to get the sheet off. How fucked is that? The producers are
what?
Yeah,
that's got to be like a law.
Carl said that, and then Andy goes, "Wait, that's fucking insane." Could you imagine having sex and then looking up and seeing the camera go like this? You probably wouldn't be able to perform that well. So Andy didn't know that. That is bizarre to me. That is known out there. I didn't like it at all.
I don't like that. I feel like that's like breaking some kind of law.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be allowed to do that.
That's like voyeurism.
At all.
Yeah.
We'll do 2 more. Max V, should Craig show up on the Summer House reunion? No. We know where we're at.
Did Paige show up on the Southern Farm reunion? No.
Yeah, I see what I get it, Max, but I don't think we need that. Here we go. Suzanne said, you're not old because we keep talking about being old. I know. I feel old. I've lived a long life for a 34-year-old. So I'm just tired. But you're right. Thank you. That's nice. From Stella, do you think Kyle and Amanda will ever grow out of Summer House and grow up, especially if they are talking about putting off kids? Do we think they are subconsciously doing that because of the show?
Kyle might be.
Yeah.
Although it seems like Amanda is the one who's kind of driving that conversation, and it's kind of similar to Paige and Craig, where Amanda's finding a purpose of her own, chasing a dream, and now Kyle's finally sitting down saying, we should start talking about having some kids. And I was like, well, I'm not ready for it. So I mean, eventually, yes, they are going to be too old for the show, but I don't know.
I can't, and love him or hate him, I can't see Summer House without Kyle.
Without
in the
Kyle,
house.
I know.
It just is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I know people don't like him, but it's hard to picture. Like, if you don't have Kyle and Amanda, then I feel like we're getting to the point where you almost have to recast. And like, you can have a show with these dudes and these ladies in the house currently, but like New York centric, like what they're doing with their daily lives, that would work. I enjoy the scenes in New York City, but I don't think getting rid of him solo is the answer. I think that eventually you gotta get a new guard in there, but not yet. I don't know. That's a tough question. And thank you all for coming out. As always, I really appreciate it. We both appreciate it. The fact that you support us the way you do and come listen to us talk shit for an hour and a half means the world. So thanks for coming out. And next Tuesday, 9 p.m. is our community Zoom where we just get to shoot the shit for a while, right? 9? God damn it.
Might want to do
God
8.
damn it.
Beverly Hills. We'll put it out. We'll just put it out.
We'll put it out. We'll look it up.
Yeah.
We'll look it up and we'll put it out. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Don't worry. But yeah, you got anything else?
Nope. All good here.
That's our show. Bros gotta go. Just be cool till it stops streaming, guys. Oh, I gotta hit the button again. Be cool, man.